What's up, everybody? We're back with another video. I'm going to try a little bit of something different. Like I said, I've had issues getting content out now because of work and all that. So, this particular video, I'm going to throw in some little things when I get out here and tinker. Sometimes I have just a little bit of time. So, what I'm going to start trying to do is come out here, you know, if I got 30 minutes or an hour, I'm going to try to work on one of the vehicles. And I'll take these little clips and I'll set them aside and hopefully comprise them all into a video. And then eventually that'll catch me up on some extra content. So for this one, what we're going to start off on is we're going to work on the Mercury some. I think I said previously in my little C10 video, well, no, yeah, I don't know if, no, I didn't. Sorry, I was talking to somebody else. Anyways, we're going to be doing a little bit on the 40 Mercury. One of the first things I've got to do to this car is we're going to be repairing the floor. Matter of fact, here's floor section I made. Let me move these out the way. Sorry. All right. Yeah, get over there. Here's a floor section we made. And another small section of floor. This big pan here is for the back floor section. You know, go from that step all the way up to somewhere in this area here, and then the little section is to finish the front area. We are going to be working on that soon. I've got the body ready to lift off, floor separated, which if you go back to the earlier Mercury video, That's I kind of covered all that a little bit, I think. I'm going to go pick up a little bit of steel and go to Harbor Freight and get some wheels. And I'm just going to make some stands off those body cross bracing so I can lift the body up, attach those, and I can roll the body in. Either that, or I've thought about just hoisting the body up and hanging it up by these rafters. But what we're going to start off doing, I do need to get the body off, but I want to fit the motor and transmission in here. Because of the transmission I'm running, this is an overdrive transmission, late flathead. The main body of it, this section here, would fit in there just fine, but that extra tail shaft with the little governor and the solenoid, those are going to cause clearance issues. You can see somebody's already hacked on this frame. Oh, let me get in here. Unfortunately. So we might have to do a little trimming and fitting to set that in there. And you can see where somebody's hacked this section here out. And you come up here, they've hacked this lower section out. So unfortunately, you know, just moving on this pedal, you can see that this whole frame rail is twist. So one of the first things, of course, we got to do with this Mercury is we got to fix this chassis. But first things first, I want to set the motor and transmission in to the best of my ability, see what we have to trim back here for that transmission to fit in. And once I figure that out, you know, we can get that section cut out, and then we can properly box and reinforce everything. And I'm going to try to make it look like a factory frame. That came this way from the factory with an overdrive is my goal. I did run into one issue. This is an old 272 Y block. Got some motor mounts on it that I had made for my 32 project. Not going to. I've got an adapter here. Now I'm not going to blame these guys. It's not their fault. It's just, you know, honest, you know, mistakes are made. I bought this from Iron Trap Garage. Those guys are great. Sell a lot of cool equipment, vintage speed. I mean, they're a great source. This is a Krager Y block adapter. It's supposed to be an adapter for Y block to early Fords. What it was, I was told. You can see where they had it marked for Y block. Well, this is the 603 adapter. I kind of took those guys' word for it when I ordered it that this was for a Y block, because he's pretty knowledgeable. As a matter of fact, he's put a Y block to early Ford. But this turns out this particular adapter is not for a Y block. For one, I mean, you can see how far off those holes are. If you line up one, other one's way, way off. It's nowhere even near fitting. Turns out, after a little research on my part, this adapter is actually for one of these, an FE Ford. So if you wanted to put a 390, 427, 428, 352, whatever, this is the adapter you need. So it does me no good for this Y block project. Luckily, I was able to hop on eBay and found a guy who had one. It's the 600 Krager, which is for the Y block. I've already cleaned out my threads. It should be here in a day or so. So with this video, like I said, we're gonna, I've got the transmission put back together. It's not, this is just a case. All the guts are still laying on the bench way over there. So this is just a hollowed out, basically, case, just that way I can figure out what's gonna clear. That's what the issue is here. And as far as this, I've got to go to my storage unit. I got to go dig out a timing, one of the timing covers for a Y block. And where's it at? I've got this over here somewheres. Oh, it came with motor nuts. No, those are different. Those are something else. Give me just a second. There's part of it. Let me stop this just for, well, I'll let it run while I'm digging it out. Y'all stay. I think it's in here anyway. There it was. Where's it? Up there? It might be up there. Bad thing about a big shop. I'm gonna turn this off. I think I might have set it up top. I've got a special engine adapter, engine mount for the Y block. Well, spin y'all around. Kind of like this. It's kind of like the old Hurst style mount. It's a new one. So, but I've got the mount. Just got to remember where I stuck the thing. So I'm gonna go to get it dug out. We'll set it over here with a block, and we'll run to the storage unit, get a set of heads, kind of mock things up to an extent. First things first, though, is I need to find that engine mount. So I'll be back with y'all in a minute. All right, found the mount. It was just up under a shelf. Come on. Here it is. Oh, well, right there. Trying to find my little bag of bolts that came with this. Not finding them at the moment. I know they're around, but worst case, it's got a full bolt list. I got the rubber mounts on the way, the hockey pucks. The way this one works, this mount here essentially goes on the front of the engine, and these holes here and here, that's where the original hockey pucks kind of go, and then this just basically sits right on top. Right there. Oop. So that's where it ends up mounting the engine, the front of it. Comes a little farther forward. But take a few little measurements. Like I said, I've got to wait for that new adapter to come in. I've got to go get my one of the timing covers I have, water pump, all that stuff. I want to try to mock this up best I can, just see what kind of clearance issues I got. I don't really need a water pump, but anyway. I've got to dig my oil pan out. I will have to notch the oil pan. The the way these things sit. There is a difference between doing this in a Ford versus a Mercury. The Mercury's, the actual front end is 4 inches longer, wheelbase and everything. And I don't know if the entire engine has moved. I'm hoping the whole engine itself has moved a little farther forward, so that gives us a little more room back here. We'll have to wait and see. But I do need to dig out a few little parts. So one of the things, we'll set up our intake and all that stuff. Just for, you're gonna mock it up, might as well mock it up and make it look good. At least that's the plan. I mean, right there's our dual 4 intake. I've got extra Y-block water pumps and stuff there. C10, I could probably use those brake calipers right there. Anyways, dig out a few parts here, see what I can find, and I'll be back with y'all in a minute. One of the parts we need, like I said, is the oil pan. I just remembered what I kind of got sidetracked talking. Unfortunately for me, it's buried in the back of this truck here. So we're gonna try to get back here and deal with some briars and bike frame right there, wheel. Ooh. Let's see if I can get there. Gotta love briars. Damn things are taking over. At least I said there was an oil pan back here. Oh, there it is. Got truck doors and well, I gotta get back here and clean. One dirty truck oil pan. I think it needs a little repair, but we got to cut it up regardless. But even without the engine in, I can kind of see what I need to do. Show you what we're talking about here. Let's, oh, some stickies. All right, you can see on the bracket, well, y'all can't see. These two holes here correspond with here. Man, I'm covered in tag-alongs. So these, hold on one second, let me find a way to set this camera up. Sorry, I'm making an adjustment. All right. Come on, there we go. That's better. Sorry about all the commotion. So you can see how low this thing here sits. I mean, the hockey pucks are going to raise it up, oh, at least an inch. Let's see, I could, there, da 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 da. Couple things of tape. I think this one's thicker than that one, but anyways, it gets us close. Anyway, those are probably close to the distance of the hockey pucks. So as you can see, go slide the oil pan in. Oh Lord, it is just at it. Huh. Usually you have to clearance front of this oil pan. You usually have to cut a little slot out of this front section. It all depends on how thick those hockey pucks really are. I mean, this is going to be shoved down a little bit because that sits on top, and you have the timing cover distance as well. Oh, so, and right now it's, let Yeah, we're still touching right at. But this gives me an idea of how far back. I think we're gonna go just a little bit past this hole here. Now, so for our mock-up, it's a good place to start. Even though we're waiting on the actual new mount. I said I know this part has to be done. I need to look this thing over. Come on. Oh, crap. All right. Yeah, it's pretty solid. I thought it at one point had a rust hole in it, but I think it's just crusty. So it'll clean up fine. I'll have it sandblasted, powder coated. So, starting our mock-up, one thing we know we need to do, like I said, is fixing this. So let's go ahead and start there. All right, let's raise that up just a little. There we go. We want to take, I want to try to keep it as even as I can. So this dot here gets us clear of the cross member, and it's to the center of it's probably about 2 1/4, but we're going to go 3 inches back is my plan, just to give us a little extra, leniency. So just going to mark 3 inches on each side, and a little trickier on the front. Can't keep it straight, but anyway. And if this cut or line isn't perfect, it's not going to be the end of the world. Because if after all, it's an oil pan. I don't know why it keeps trying to. Anyway. Alright. Now this won't affect the engine at all. I like my vintage motors. I'm a big, being a Ford guy, but I'm a big, I'm a Y block fan. Who's here? Anyway, the Y block, how it kind of got its name, for those of you who don't know, everybody knows a flathead Ford engine, quintessential hot rod motor. Can't go wrong with a flathead. Well, the Y block is the first motor to replace a flathead. Ford's first overhead valve motor. Actually, that's not true. World War II, they did have the big GAA tank engine. It's over 1,000 cubic inches, dual overhead cam. I think it's a cool engine. Look it up. Ford GAA. Ford's first big block. It's more of a giant block than a big block. Anyways, the Y block, let's take y'all over here real quick. It's got its name because of the deep skirting. Let's y'all up right here for a second. I need to flip this block over to show y'all really. Alright, spin y'all around. You can see the crank is actually pretty high up, but it's got its name because the actual block itself is more shaped like a Y due to this deep side skirting, and the oil pan mounts way down here. And matter of fact, I don't even think the rotating assembly even touches the top. You can put a flat bar, spin it, and it doesn't touch. So doing this little modification I'm about to do doesn't affect it or hurt it at all, in my opinion, or as far as I know. So what we're going to do is cut across here, and right about where that flat spot is at the front, we'll cut that off. Gives us, let's see, how tall is this? It's 2 inches tall. We'll gain about 1.5 inches of clearance. Probably don't need quite that much, but I'd rather have it and not need it. You know what to say, same principle as a condom and a gun. Rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. So that's the plan. We'll cut below this line. Do a little fabric cobbling. All right, Sharpie, there you go. Am I worried about perfection? No, I am not. You know why I'm not worried about perfection? Perfection is unobtainable. But we still want to make this nice. This is going to be I'm going to use all my skill set on this particular car. And hopefully improve my skill set while doing it. I want this car to be as nice as I can possibly make it. For a garage built car anyway. Alright. Well, y'all can see the lines we got drawn. So, and let me get my cutoff wheel and we'll hack this thing up. Alright. Come on, I know you ain't dead. 2 bars. Oopsie. All right, got her cut. Now this is, I'd say 16 gauge. I know I've got some somewhere. Let me go see what I can find. I'll be right back. Well, unfortunately, it looks like all I have is 18 gauge sheet metal. I mean, not that big of a deal. 18 is fine for this particular patch. I'm not worried about it, you know, I don't have to worry about acting as a skid plate because literally there's a cross member here. So 18 will be fine. So we're going to clean this up a little bit. Oh, as y'all can see, I'm representing my hooligans today. Coming. Oh, I got some new discs I want to try out. Let me grab those. Be better for sanding this anyway. Ordered these not too long ago. Can't remember on whose channel I seen these on. 60, 80. We'll go with 80. As far as your flap disc, not a flap disc, but your abrasive, see these are hexagon shaped. Less waste when they're cutting them out. Gives you a little bit of overhang too. So. Oh yeah, that's nice. Apparently, while I was trimming this, I dropped down a little lower in this corner. Not that big of a deal, we'll make it work. Ba-dum. Come on. All right, it's cleaned up. Now we gotta make us a patch. Said that should be about 3 inches back, 2 inches up. I need a 5-inch piece. Let me go cut us a piece of sheet metal and I'll be back with you. Got us a piece of metal. It's just the right width, piece of scrap I had. I'm gonna go put a little bend in it and we can kind of start trimming it up, making it fit better. So anyway, I guess I'll take y'all with me. Gonna go over here to the other shop. Been a bit cooler today. I think the high was only about 50. I'm loving it. Being a fat guy, not sweating for once while I'm working, that's nice. Anyway, of course I got a bunch of stuff in the way. Close enough. Good enough for government work. It's close to a 90. All right. Do an initial fit, kind of trace everything out, and do some trimming, yada, yada, yada. And then we can do some, well, can't do some welding just yet. I'll have to hook up my other welder. I gotta go get can't even think. Oh yeah, that's looking nice. I'll get y'all back where y'all can see. I still gotta go pick up a regulator for that new Yes welder I got. A little too low. Now this is where those little fine tip ones I have come in real handy. Very nice. Set up my sheet metal shear if I can find it. Well, All right, y'all. Sorry for the background noise. Compressor's running where I've been fitting this part. Anyways, got a little piece made up, trimmed up. Got a real nice fit. Fits just inside the lip. I'll be able to stick it up just a hair, get a nice little butt weld all the way around. Might need just a little more tweaking in just a couple spots, but it's pretty close. I'm pretty happy with the fit. Like I said, I still got to get me a new regulator for this welder, and we're going to give it a go, tacking this thing here in. Probably be going this evening or in the morning and go pick up that regulator. I mean, worst case, I could always hook up my other welder, but I kind of really want to play with this new welder I got. You know what it's like having a new toy, want to play. So, but I think with this fit up, welded up, and everything real nice, we'll be good to continue on with our fit up for the Mercury. Oh, Lordy. Of course, I'm running out of daylight. Still don't have my power ran out here. So I think I'm about done out here for the night. As we continue, like I said, we'll get everything kind of bolted together. Engine, transmission, as soon as that adapter comes in. Start getting it fitted. Probably take y'all with me here in the morning. Go see if we can find that timing cover and pick up a set of heads and all that just for mocking this up. But anyways, y'all stay tuned. We'll be back with y'all in just a minute. Alright, y'all, having issues with this damn GoPro at the moment. Finally got a regulator for a new welder, so I'm gonna try out the new welder while we weld this up. Anyways, let's just get to welding. All right, guys, I'm a little frustrated at the moment. Trying out this new welder. At first, it started off doing fine. Seemed like a real nice weld. It just seemed like it had a delay before it would start. And it's a post-flow thing. It would start to gas, and then it seemed like the amperage would ramp up. But then one time, I guess it fused to the tip, crow's nest on me in here. And after that, I've nothing but struggled. And now, let's see. I'll show y'all here. Let me get this thing flipped over. God damn it, fucking camera. All right, you can see these welds. The first few here started off okay, but then it wouldn't feed. As soon as you start to weld, places over here, the wire just melts up inside the welder, and it's like it's a delay for it to start feeding. This area here, I got real good penetration pretty well, but I had to change the settings to put it up on 16 gauge, because this thing is like a bunch of presets. But it's hard to see. But I'm just fighting with it, getting it to feed. And I'm trying to make this part nice. I guess that's my mistake for trying out a new welder on something I really need. But I don't know what the deal is with. Literally every time well, let me grab the gun. I'm used to, as soon as my old one, I've had my old welder for like 30 years. Literally as soon as you squeeze the trigger, it starts feeding. You can see the wire here. Right there, it's feeding now. But here, I'm gonna see if we can spin y'all around and give y'all a view. God damn it. Fucking thing just does not want to focus. I'm not having a good time here. There it was delayed. Now the wires, it just popped out and just stuck. Now it's gonna make a liar out of me. Now it's sticking to that thing just fine. I don't know what the issue with this thing is. Let me see if I can video what it's doing. Where's my damn helmet? Can't tell though. Yeah, I'm getting very frustrated with this. It's not, I guess I'm so used to my other welder, I can weld anything with it. It's one of those, you know, I could weld a dick on a snowman if I wanted to. This one here is just, it's fighting me with everything. Where the hell are my clippers at? Sorry I'm cursing so much. But it's frustrating when you spend money on something, go to upgrade, and then it just bites you. But anyway, let's see if I can show y'all what this thing's doing. Finally got it to start welding there. Should have just kept on welding but holding this. But those first few you seen, it just went, and that's all it does. Like here. It's just not welding right. I'm gonna keep fucking with this thing, see if I can get it to weld right, and I'll be back with y'all. Well, I think I got it figured out. I think part of the issue was I was trying to run 0.24 wire. Ordered this welder. It came with a couple spools of 0.30. It came with a few consumables, but it did not come with a tip for the 0.24. And I was using some of my older tips that I had. And they're actually a little shorter and a different style than what's in the gun. So I'm thinking, and yeah, they were, like I said, they were dab shorter. So let me get this thing off. Y'all can see that there. If I was to put this up where the threads go in, I mean, we're 1/8 of an inch farther back or so, roughly. And so what I've done is I've changed out the wire. I don't really like running these little 2-pound spools. I mean, I'll just have to buy more wire soon. And for sheet metal work, I prefer, I prefer to do 0.24. But anyway, it seems to be welding better now. I'm guessing that was the issue. And problem is, I'm gonna have to go in here and grind and clean up a lot now. Probably re-weld some stuff. Might even break out the TIG and see if we can touch it up some. Anyways, so I guess that's what I'm gonna do now. Yeah, fun for me. So that's the plan at the moment. So it's a little frustrating, you know, new welder fucking around with it. Had me real aggravated and tore up, especially when I'm trying to make a part look nice and it's just fighting me. Because I'm really gonna have to get on the inside and clean up a few spots with a carbide burr and all that. I mean, it's not terrible. I've definitely seen worse. This corner here welded real nice. That was when I switched to the 30 wire. Some of the other ones with the 0.24 look like a little bit of a colder weld than I like. So, well, with that being said, I'm going to break out the grinder and clean these up, make it look a little better, and start touching it up. So let's continue work. All right, I'm much happier now. After I ground those down, I decided I was originally just going to weld a couple spots, but I re-welded the whole thing just to make sure there was good penetration. Much happier with those welds. Much happier. I mean, I'll still grind them down. With that much welding, I don't think I should have any issue with leaks, but we'll still test it to the best of our ability. Yeah, I think that part there is done. Other than, well, just grinding it back down, which I'll go ahead and do. And of course, I'll just do that off camera. I'm sure you don't want to watch me sit and just grind. And then we'll work on getting the engine and transmission together. But for me, that'll be another day. For y'all, it'll just be a few seconds. I'm still waiting on that adapter to get here. So until that gets here, I'm going to get this ground down. Still need to get the storage unit and pick up the timing cover. So I'll be back with y'all in a moment. Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. You can see I've started to lift the body. I think I'm just gonna hang it from the rafter up here. I'm gonna get as high as I can on this side, throw a couple ratchet straps, we'll get the back up. So I'd already, like I said previously, cut this loose. It'll make fitting all this easier. Firewall's going to be modified anyways later on, so I'm not worried about that. So let's continue raising this up. I'll set up the camera, do a little time lapse so y'all can watch all my sketchiness and fast feet, yeah, in high speed. Well, that was a bit of a workout. You can see we got the body up off the 40. Yeah, that was a workout doing it by myself. Y'all can really see how rough this floor is. I made a mistake. I stepped up at one point. I stepped here in the middle, and it almost just all collapsed on me. Here's what I'm fastened to. My Z-bars are all welded in or support cross beams. And one in the back. Got the extra that's tied off, so more kind of a safety thing there. It should never just drop. Getting it down is going to be a little tricky by myself, but hopefully the time to take it down, I'll get some snatch blocks or come along with it, something like that. A little pulley system. It's not the body's super heavy. It's just awkward by yourself. So, but this way I can, this will be easier for me to mock up this transmission and stuff, and we can get a little better start on the floor. Here in a minute, I'll lay the floor up here and show y'all kind of what we got going. We're going to have to make these lower seals. Ah, crap. Yeah, these lower seals will go all the way down on both sides. Of course, I still need to get that running board off. That's something else. We'll be making running boards. Yeah, this one's going to be a lot of work, but yeah, anyway. Something we got to do. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. The back section's real rough. Here soon, hopefully we're supposed to be making a trip to Ohio to look at a couple other Mercuries that we might be buying. Pictures look like they both had pretty good back trunk sections. Playing with them, well, first let's wait and see if we get them before we even discuss them. A lot of parts, but hopefully we'll get them. Anyways, let's get this here cleaned off and set this floor up here, show you what it's kind of looking like. Just like that, floors are done. How about that? You see I'd previously made two pieces. That's got the same taper as the factory. Matter of fact, if I come back here to the back, I mean, you can see we're pretty much just sitting right on that. I mean, we're hitting in a few spots. It needs you can see that gap from bending this to the taper. These edges kind of flare out, so I'm gonna have to trim off a little to get that good and square. And then this upper piece. Yeah, it's just the toe board section. Of course, all of this needs to be trimmed. You can see how much overhang we got here at the front. Not nearly as much at the back. Matter of fact, I could probably get away with go ahead and just kind of roughly scribing these. That way I can trim them down. Gives me a good start anyway. Matter of fact, I'll probably just go ahead and do that. Just take a Sharpie and go underneath, right down that sill plate. We can trim those down, and then, like I said, it'll still be a little bit out. I'll trim them to that actual line, and part of them tucks under that sill plate we got to make. So, sill plate, you see right here, it sits right on top of the floors. So if I, we'll draw the line right up to them. At least that's the plan. But, so I'm just going to go ahead and scribe these now, but we're not doing the floors just yet. First things first is, like I said, we want to get this engine, that block with our oil pan, our engine mount, get everything set in. That way we can see what we need to modify right here in this cross member area. Right now you can really see too where they butchered this frame, and see if you can see how much that whole thing there is wiggling. So we're going to have to fix all that. 40 is going to be fun, but I want it done right. Anyway, let me get this mark this floor and We'll get that taken back up. Might go ahead and trim it, I don't know. All right, y'all, you see we got this thing marked out. Here's that little bit where it's talking about it transitions due to this taper. So it's pretty much, I got it drawn, it's even on both sides. That allows me to keep it square against that back. Other than that, you can see our little line. We'll get this thing trimmed out, both sides. I'll still need to do this here as well, do the front side, but not that big a deal. So I think I'm gonna get these things cut, and that'll be it for me for the night, and I'll be back out here tomorrow if I don't get called into work. So let's get to cutting. Battery died on my cutoff wheel and on my on the GoPro. So anyway, we'll finish this off with some 10 snips. All right, y'all, it's the next day. A little late in the afternoon, actually. Not got much done. Had a lot of errands to run. This is Thanksgiving week for us. It's Monday. We had to go, me and the old lady had to go finish doing her shopping for our Thanksgiving dinner. Did manage to swing by the storage unit. Got us a timing cover. Needs cleaned up a little bit, but I'm actually about to just clean up all the threads. I got my thread chasers here. So we'll get that done. I still need to get some other bolts and everything for that mount, but it gets us a step closer. We're still waiting on the rubber hockey pucks and the bell housing adapter anyways, and I'll probably be getting called out tonight. But hey, progress is progress as long as we're moving forward, right? So let's get to cleaning these threads up. Got my little thread chasers here, little looby dooby. We're just gonna spray in, clean them all out. Quick and simple, easy peasy. We got those threads cleaned up and started to go ahead and try to test fit the mount real quick, and we ran into a problem. Of course, this is why you do your mock-ups first anyways. You know, aftermarket parts don't always fit the best. All right, you can see I've got these two nuts here, or bolts in. This one lines up. You know, that one, it just drops in. But the rest of these, you can see how far off that is there. Same thing here and here. So 3 out of 6. So I have 2 options. I can either A, take a carbide and kind of waller out the holes and make them fit. Or this is welded here, here, and here. I already had to grind out some of the weld on the back side because it was hitting these ears. So I can either cut this off, and drop the bolts in and then just weld it in place with, these two will hold it in place. Hold those in and then weld it. So those are my two options. I can either cut this thing up and re-weld it to make it work, or waller out some holes. Wallering out the holes would be the easiest thing, but then the downside to that, down here on these ends, time I wallered that out, it'd be getting real thin there and real thin here. The top, not that big of a deal. So, and so this one here happens to line up. At a minimum, I'm at least going to cut this one and get both of these lined up, I think. I think it'll just be better. The Joy aftermarket parts. Luckily, I didn't pay full price for this one. It's a good quality part. It's built well, but these housings, their casting could have been off. It could have shifted a little. There's a few explanations, but I ain't mad at them for what it is. We'll just fix it. About all we can do. All right, made my decision. Kind of already started on it. We're going to do a combination of the two. Come on, flip around. So this one bolt hole here lined up. I think I'm just going to waller this one here. If I need to, I can weld a little extra material on the edge. This one, we went ahead and cut it loose. I've got the bolts in there now. You can see how big of a gap we got. A little bit of a Gaposaurus Rex, but I'm going to fill that in. We're going to weld this all back in. This is bolted in place. I got welds, or the bolts drop through and everything except for that one. So this thing shouldn't really move on me, but I think that'll fix all of our little issues. That's already locked in just from these two holding it down tight. So I'm going to get this thing welded up, and I think we'll be ready to mock it up. So, all right, get to it. Kind of wish I had my other welder hooked up for this. Like I said, I still ain't got enough practice in with this one, but especially with these big gaps. Let's see what we can do. Well, there we go. Tripped the breaker as soon as I used it. Let me go throw that. I kept tripping the breaker on that other one, so I just hooked up the old welder. I know this thing works. Alright, welded up on this side. I'm leaving a little gap right there where the bolt is, just for bolting it on. Do want to take it over and get better penetration on this back. Getting a good root in here now. Oh, where's my ground? Oh, we need the ground. All right, let's finish this thing up. Yeah, instead of switching cameras, we'll just real good weld, penetrated on both sides. You can see where earlier I was talking about I had to ground down to clear the little nub. Even from this side, I still got good most of the penetration. So, I think she's better now. I'm just going to clean up a couple little spots here, and we'll be good. Alright, let's make sure this thing didn't shift too much during welding. I'm going to drop the bolts on there more. Still very, very warm. Where's that bolt at? And grab another one. Fits. And there, she's a little snug. That one still drops in. It goes in though. Of course, that's the wrong size bolt. It's 5/16, need a 3/8. But I think I'm pretty happy with that. Like I said, I will. Yeah, hold on. Let me grab one more 3/8 bolt real quick, and we'll see if it'll slide in there. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to water that spot out just a little. Yeah, I mean it's close. A little file work and I think we'll be fine right there. So I mean it's just starting. I guess it's one even just almost thread in. Yeah, call that good. All right, well, we basically got this thing mocked up. These bolts here, these four here are just in. This one here is a little snug, but it'll pop out. Anyway, so I got a few pans here in the bolt, a few bolts here in the pan. No reason to put a whole bunch on. Maybe I'll put one or two more at the back. This one, this one, this one, and this one are actually kind of snug. These here need to be a dab longer. They're just barely in. And I've got to get longer bolts here. These are just shy. No, hold on. The wrong way. There we go. You can see they're supposed to go down to this line right here. So I'll probably need about an inch, inch and a half longer. So when I get back off this next trip, or if I for some reason don't get called out, I'll run the hardware store tomorrow. Pick us up some bolts. Right now you get a better view of that front weld. pretty good weld on that thing. Speaking of weld, I guess right now I'll be using my little welder, doing thicker metal. This big one's trying to pull too much amperage, and I guess the breaker I'm running off of from the house to here, old lady's waving at me through the window, is only a 20 amp, and I need at least a 30, 35 amp breaker for this. Of course, when I have the shop, the actual wire into the shop, will have a higher breaker, so we won't have to worry about it. So I guess that's the issue I'm running into with this welder. Not a biggie, but like I said, we've got this thing here somewhat mocked up. I got to pull off those old motor mounts I'd made a long time ago. But yeah, be good enough to get it into the 41's chassis once the bell housing comes in and we can get that all bolted up. So hopefully that'll, I need to check the shipping, tracking on that thing, see when it's going to be here. But we'll continue this video once it gets here. All right, y'all, we're back. It's been a few days since we've been working on this. Didn't manage to go pick up a bag of bolts. Not only that, so we're gonna, well, not even aimed right. We're gonna change these bolts here out. And as a matter of fact, so we got our hockey pucks in, and talking about timing, here we are in the garage. UPS just showed up and he has my adapter. So I'm gonna get that and I'll be right back with you. So that worked out well. It's getting ready to try to set this thing in, so it's just what we needed to do it. I knew it was out for delivery. Anyway, let's get this box opened up. See what we got. Yeah, it's packaged well. It goes over the starter. Come on, sit. There. Now, let's compare. Y-block, Ford, Krager. And yeah, that's about what I paid for it. Actually, I think I got a little cheaper. I think that's it, total shipping and all. First things first, let me go ahead and let's get these bolts swapped out. That way we can flip our block over. That one's going to be difficult. I had one that was a little on the snug side. Sit y'all down for a minute. not the right one. Oh. Not good. Come on. Getting them started has been difficult at this moment. Let me loosen these others. We'll work on our alignment just a hair. I need to move this camera before I drop it. Okay. Oh. Well. Alright, that's hello. Sorry about that, had a phone call, but anyways, got the bolts put in and got the old mounts off the side. So now let's get this block flipped over and see if this adapter fits like it's supposed to. Hopefully it does. That thing gonna lock on now. Alright, give me a second, this thing's being weird. Alright. Let's try this again. Oh, come on. See if this matches. Now this one looks like it's going to line up. Now I've got to find my bolts. Be back with y'all in just a minute. Well, this one fits. Got her bolted on. 4 bolts holding it. Now I get the pleasure of setting the transmission back up here and bolting it in. But yeah, much better than it was. So anyway, we'll get that set up and let's get this thing on here. Alright, strong back, weak mind. Here we go. Smarter, not harder. What am I hitting? Oh, clutch fork. Alright, that's on there. We'll get some bolts in this, lay it down, and we should be able to start setting it in. Just noticed, I don't know if this has happened, I don't remember it being this way. Cast iron ear looks broke, looks fresh. So I'm assuming when I was moving this thing around, I must have broke that ear for that dowel. Don't think it's going to affect much. Like I said, it's going to still have all the bolt holes, dowel pins in the other one. But regardless, just have to be a little more careful with it in the future. But let me dig out some bolts. We'll slap this thing together and we'll be good to go. Well, as y'all can see, we got it together, got it in the air. Now we're going to go back with it, see how well she fits, what we got to trim. Watch out so I don't hit that firewall. Got a little wiggling to do. Like I could have went just a hair higher, bumping that firewall a little. So I thought we should be good. We got to lower it. I'm hitting the crossbar in here, one of the braces. Easy does it. Hair more. Well, I'll get these lower mounts out of the way. Oh! Hey, there's a car floating right there. Damn, Caught my head on it. Magnet on the mic, grab that handle. Alright. Let's ease her down. Need to level it out a little more. And now we need to come forward. Some of this is real fun to do by yourself, I tell you. All right, well, she's in, kinda. We'll have to do some reassessing here, I think. Like I said, the tail end's still up in the air. Let's take a look. All right, so as y'all can see, this is a little forward, so that one's sitting pretty centered, so that tail end of this needs to go over that way. At the moment, we're sitting right here. We're clear on that side, but what's got us, it looks like, is the solenoid for the overdrive. It is currently, no, it ain't even touching. It's our shifting arm there, which is not in the right position anyways. Pull that arm off, we should be able to get this over a little bit more. Let me get that arm off, we'll make an adjustment, and we'll come back and take a look. Okay, y'all, I've got it set in here. So, I mean, that's the good news. You can see where we trimmed that pan. We got plenty of clearance. I probably could have got away with just almost trimming the corners, because that's mainly where it hits. But we might get another pan later on and redo that. I don't know. Transmission is close to where it needs to sit, but the governor is bumping, is hitting the frame here, so we'll have to clearance this section. I had to remove the solenoid and one shifting arm. Let's go around to this side. I think there's room. I think it's just, let's see here. The shifting arm, I mean, we're right here next to the clutch and stuff. I think it was just a matter of positioning. You can see it's going to be close. I probably can't see the arm in the way. I mean, I don't know. We might have to shift the pedal assembly over just, I don't know, maybe an inch would be great. That'd give us plenty of room, because I can jog the pedals, but we might, the whole mount for it, we might shift it over just a little. The solenoid, that would also probably solve our solenoid issue, the way this thing sits in here at an angle. We're just bumping the edge of the master cylinder. So I think that's one of the things we're going to do. We're going to dog leg this whole section over an inch, maybe just 3/4 of an inch or so. And we'll have to fix that area there for the governor. And then it also lets us, and then we can go and fix everything else. That kind of gives us our game plan for fitting this. As I said, we're just kind of roughly set in place right now. I mean, we've got plenty of room here. Of course, I don't have heads on here yet. Don't have my intake sitting on it or nothing. Somebody's here. Anyway, that's initial mock-up. The tail end of the transmission does need to drop a bit more. You can see we got to get y'all in here where I can. I'm trying to find a good way. Right here's this. I mean, we got a good gap between here, so we'll have to make a mount somewhere in that area. And of course the mount, it'll be close to where it's sitting now overall, which isn't terrible. Like I said, the main thing is just clearancing for that governor, which will give us a little more room. And clearancing, the governor's got it pushed over that way. I'll take you out to the top. You can see we're closer to that side. So clearance for this governor, actually we might not even have to move that, because that'll pull this section this way, moving those pedals. So I might go ahead and just kind of notch that part of the frame and floor here a little bit so I can see. I think that's what we need to do to really set this thing in there all the way. Because that's the only hold up right now is that governor. I mean, I could take the governor off and just drop the whole thing in. Excuse me, got hiccups. Matter of fact, I think I'll do that real quick. We'll jack it up. I'll just unscrew that governor. It just screws into place. See how that affects our fit. So that's the quickest, easiest solution to see how we're looking. So let's do that. That made a huge, huge difference. Let me show y'all. You can see now, I even put my shifter arm back on. It's below that pedal assembly. So we should be good there. Even the solenoid mounting, I can see where it's going to hit now, which is part of this damaged area over here. I should be able to fix that and it not affect the master cylinder. The only issue is I'm going to probably, when we have to install this transmission, we'll probably have to have the solenoid off of it and the governor, set it in, and then put those back in place just to get it in. Let me check this yet. Let's see. Right here, you can see in the original floor bead is where the transmission cover would sit. And look at there, we're completely under it. That is good. Good, good, good. So, modifying this is not going to be as bad as I thought. It's just mainly going to be section right here for that governor and a lot of repairs on that side. Before I go too far with all this though, I do want to go ahead and need to get a bolt or so in this, make sure this is lined up where it needs to be. Want to get a set of heads and a few other things just throw on here. We'll set our manifold on, we'll at least kind of mock it up. That way I can start figuring out my exhaust. Probably going to run like ram horns, ceramic coated. Those are always a good hot rod choice. The problem is aftermarket set of those like 400 something bucks. But I didn't plan on going cheap on this motor anyway. But I think it's looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Get y'all in frame. That's pretty good. Got plenty of clearance all around. Plenty of room for exhaust to come down, go right through that hole. Same thing. That hole has been butchered, which that one will fix. So it looks like this one is just a straight up fix. Nothing, no changes there. All of our modifications are going to be back here on this little section here and over there. Of course, there's some spots where they cut an old cross member out right in there. We're going to have to sort out. But you can see our solenoid right there. It would be, ooh, we might have to split these wishbones, get us a little lower. It looks like we might be bumping that solenoid on that. Let's see. Yeah, I can't even get it in the hole just yet. Now, granted, that is sitting on the cross member. That ass end of that transmission probably needs to come up 1.5 inches, I'd say. Probably put a 2x4 under there and be good. Let me see if I can find a 2x4. Like I said, we need to get this as close as we can for all of our test fitting purposes. So, and we'll be right back with you. We'll dig out a chunk of a 2x4. All right, we got that transmission propped up. Still got clearance. It's real close on that steering arm, or not steering arm, this linkage arm, but I've got a little room to play with. We can probably get this thing just a little farther back. That would give us the clearance there for that to move. And it's actually up probably a little higher than it is because that block I've got under there, it's hard to see. Anyways, it's sitting up on the ball for the end of the wishbones. The little ball thing, so it's actually got it raised up a little higher than it needs to be. So I've got a little fine tuning to do all around. At the moment, still can't get the solenoid in, mainly because we're hitting this lower piece. So I should be able to trim a section out of it for clearance and be able to get that in there. Same thing, still need to trim for the governor. Everything else I think is going to be fine as of right now. At least that's the way it's looking. But that was the main thing I wanted to do was, oh wait, hold on. It's all over the screen. Sorry. Anyway, that was the main thing I wanted to get done. I just wanted to get this thing set into place. Get this jack. Cherry picker out the way. Just gives us a better overall idea. Not only does it let me know what clearance or whatever issues I have, it also is going to show me what modifications we're going to have to do to the new floor when we start building it. Transmission tunnel part, even with it up this high, still seems to be good for the most part. Looks like we're starting to bump over here, right here on this side here. So we might have to modify this a little bit as well. But that's why we do mock-up. We don't just assume things are going to fit. So I'd rather figure all this out right now. I will when I do a master cylinder. I'm going to put a dual reservoir master cylinder. It's just more of a safety thing. I mean, I know these here can work fine, but I have to make sure it has the lines on the driver's side or on that far side of it coming out. Ain't no way I'll be able to get lines over here on this side. Just not quite enough room. Yeah, but there's our initial mock-up of a Y block and a 40 Mercury. I was right about the motor being farther forward. Well, partly. No, I need to make a measurement. See where the firewall is. Give me a second there. Let's here's the toe board. I'm thinking firewall is going to be almost even with the back of that motor. So eventually we're going to be redoing this firewall. That'll be another thing. We'll have to set the body on. Yeah, matter of fact, there's these 2 bolt holes here. Yeah, those are right here. So let's put in our firewall. I think it's back here, actually. I need to measure from... I need to take a couple measurements to figure that out. Not 100% positive. Well, here's that groove. I can measure from this. Here's where there's hard to see it on this one. But there's a little groove that sat in right here, this is where it started. So we can measure from here to here, see how far forward we are, and go up from there. Because I think we're going to have to recess part of our firewall. At least a little bit anyways. I was going to be making a new one anyways. Easier to make a new firewall than to fill all those holes. So at least that's the plan. We find my tape measure. We'll take a couple measurements and kind of see where our firewall is going to land. All right, a couple quick measurements. These 2 holes here, they pretty much line up with these 2 holes here. Puts our front edge of our firewall about right here. So we're going almost right over the bell housing. So we should be good. We might get a little close with the distributor, which is not that big a deal. The distributor I'm going to use is actually very small. I mean, I've got this one we can shove in there if we wanted to real quick. And you can see, I mean, it's not all the way seated, but it is bumping back here at the edge of that bell housing area. So we're probably going to have to make at least a little recess for a distributor. I'd say at a minimum. But not that big a deal. We'll worry about it. Of course, that's a future problem when we go to replace that holy mess right there. So one of the first things we're going to start doing now, so now we got the motor kind of mocked up. I've got to make a few. What's this thing doing? Anyway, I've got to make a few decisions. If I still want to make sure I want to run this traditional front suspension, I've got other options as far as transmissions. I wanted to keep this one old school, very, very traditional, like an original custom. It was kind of the thought. Not always an optional. Sometimes you just, good intentions, but just don't work out. We're wrong. Well, there's a will, there's a way. We put enough work into this thing, we can make it work. I just might have to make a few other tweaks. I said we're dropping the suspension anyways. Dropped I-beams, drop steering arms, reverse I-spring, all that fun stuff. I need to look, see if there's any info about splitting these particular wishbones to help lower the car a little for the geometry of them. I figure worst case or best case, hopefully we can, split them back here and bring them over just to the edge inside the X-frame. That would be good if we could do that. Only issue with that one is as long as we stay kind of below the X member, we should be good. But that clutch arm and those shifter linkage is going to be our problem. So it's get one thing figured out. Sometimes you just open up, another can of worms. I think we'll just take this one step at a time. Let's just start fixing what we can, and we'll go from there. And I'll do a little more research. But I said this was just kind of a quick video throwing this thing together. Basic mock-up. Don't know when I'll be back on it. I've got other parts and tools and stuff on the way. Of course, the square body back there, that's priority. Getting that thing finished and flipped. I'm waiting on a bead forming tool from Japan's Customs, Carl Fisher. That will be used to form the beads in our floor pan over there against the wall. Of course, I'll have to go buy some scrap steel. I'll make my own forms, but the hammer forming tool with that Delron tip is what I ordered from him. But yeah, I think that's it for this one, y'all. I appreciate y'all watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and if you got any recommendations, suggestions, anything we can do different on this frame, other suspension option ideas, preferably, like I said, I'd like to keep this original one. I want to run the I-beam and this little baby sway bar and all this stuff. You know, like I said, I want a traditional custom. If I have to go more modern, like a Mustang 2 or whatever, we will. I know that's better ride quality and all that, but if I do that, then we'll probably swap out the transmission, put like a T5 in here. I don't know. I like the idea of a manual. I want a 3 on the tree, but I really want that overdrive gear. That's why I was going with this transmission for highway driving. So anyway, research to do, decisions to make. Fun part of a project, right? Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Tune in for the next one. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll catch y'all on the flip side.